Hariom to everyone. Happy Monday if you're on this hemisphere of the planet. If you're in Australia, Asia, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to our exploration of the Yoga Sutras. Patanjali is explaining the powers of the Atma. As a spiritual being, we are a very powerful being. He explains even the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, these are powerful elements. We're working at them. But even more powerful than the elements is as the spiritual being whom we are, the Atma. Or other place it says Jivatma. So we're continuing to explore the powers. Some of them again is over our head. Some are, we can relate to some. We're at book 3, mantra 39. 39, if you go to mantra 39. And we just finished where he explains that the powers, he warns us here that the powers can sometimes, like everything in life can be a hindrance or can be a progression. So the same thing with these powers, they come naturally after you start to meditate. They can become a hindrance to your evolution or they help you to evolve. So this next mantra, we're going to read mantra 39, book 3. This one is over my head. Not even, I have never met a yogi who can do this one. I've never seen it. I've only read about it in the Bhagavatam and different Puranas. He says here, by the loosening of the cause of the bondage of mind to body, you separate the astral body from the physical body, and by knowledge of the procedure of the mind stuff functioning, entering another's body is accomplished. Amazing mantra, amazing power to have. It's amazing. We have that power. We just don't know how to do it. So I remember when my teacher was explaining it, he used a beautiful story from one of the Puranas that, and growing up as a Christian and as a child, I would hear about someone raised from the dead, right? You hear of Christ raised from the dead, or you hear about someone who is dead, Christ brought them back to life. So this is that same city. So in the Puranas, it's described one child passed away, and child was very young, maybe about 3-4 years old. And it just so happened one great yogi, Muni, Rishi called Agastya Muni, was passing the village. And Agastya Muni, through this power, was able to go into his meditation. And it's described, there's a nadi is a channel. So that's what, you understand the procedure. A channel, a pathway, a nadi, a channel, like a vein is a nadi. It's a pathway where blood flows. The nerves are nadis. It's where synapses move, right? So there's a channel, a pathway where you can enter someone's body and bring them back to life or help to educate them. So I guess someone through his mystic power went into put his physical body into stillness and left his separate, the soul, his atma stayed in his body, but his astral body, the mind, the intellect, and the ego, that same body which we dream with at night and go, he has control over it where he could then follow a pathway. I don't know the pathway, it's a nadi to enter someone's body, and he did it. And he made contact with the Atma. And the Atma already was leaving the body. And Gasamune recognized the karma and everything, and understand your parents are, why are you doing this to your parents? Your parents are in grief. Please come back, this, that. And the little boy was also a mystic yogi from previous life. So when they were connecting on the astral plane, the little was, my karma was only supposed to stay in this life, this body for a certain amount of time. It's time for me to go. And I got some, but then you can use this life so that you can teach wisdom to others. And the little boy, the Atma within, not in the, he connected with Paramatma, Lord in the heart. And he asked the Lord in the heart, should I stay longer? And he got the answer, yeah. So he came back into brought his vitals, the values back into the body, and the body came back to living. So that's one story in the Puranas. Another story, the yogis, they use it to maybe a teacher wants to teach the student something, and the student will sit in stillness, and the teacher would then use his astral body, find the pathway, and go into the body of the student and share wisdom, share the pathways to them. So we call that Guru Shakti. So we know of those two ways how this why this power is used. One, it can bring back someone to life, or the yogi would use it to educate the disciple of the subtle techniques from inside. So it's over my head as well. I don't know the pathway. I don't know of any yogi who has done it. My teacher only quoted stories from the Puranas that describe it. It's a very high, but Patanjali writes it because it's possible. The way how me and you do it is in our dreams. It's just that we don't know how it works. I'm pretty sure if you are around someone regularly, on a daily basis, or twice a week, 3 times a week, regularly, it is quite common one night you put your body into stillness, and your subtle body, your mind, your intellect and ego, a subtle body separates from the physical, and you enter someone else's mental body, and you come in the form of an energetic being, and the person will have a dream of you, or you dream of that person. So we do it unknowingly. We don't know the pathway, the nadi that allows us to do it, but it takes place. Every one of us have dreams of another human. So that means that other human's energy entered our mental body, our astral body connected with their astral body. But how it works, very tricky. So this is one where it's over my head. I had that ability of leaving my body and then follow a pathway and bring someone's body back to life. Whoa, that's amazing. So the yogis understood that that's a possibility. I read it and I've meditated on this mantra, and I haven't figured that out, and I haven't learned it yet, but it's possible. And we've seen yogis in the past use it for bringing bodies back to life, into an animal's body, or they enter the body to educate. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is more relatable. The next one triggers, the next mantra triggers every living entity that I know. Because every one of us, at once in our life, we get fascinated with levitation. Everyone, every child I know growing up wants to know how to fly or how to levitate. It's amazing. So I remember once in this one I have experienced. This one I've perceived with my own eyes in the Himalayas. And people try to replicate it in the West. Magicians try to do it. No, no, no. There is an amazing way to levitate. And in our culture, I'm pretty sure every one of us have levitated before, isn't it? Who in the room hasn't levitated before? I think everyone who catches an airplane, who used an airplane before? Right? You're up there and you're way up, 30,000, right? 20,000, and you're away from the gravitational pull. So if our engineers figured out a way for us to leave the gravitational pull, and right, I'm in Hawaii, they have a direct flight. Here to Hawaii, it's like, here, Hawaii to New York, there's a flight. It's 13 hours, 12 hours long. You're levitated, right? We don't stop to think of it. We just recognize, wait, we're using an airplane. But what did the engineers tap into? The engineers tapped into can everyone mute their computers or phones? Thank you. Yeah. So we don't stop to think about it, but what the engineers tapped into, where they can make a mass of atoms, right? This body is a mass of atoms, which make up the elements. And it's amazing the engineers are able to figure out a way to use a certain force to allow a mass of atoms to leave the gravitational pull and exist in another aspect of the universe. We call it sky or space, and it's floating, it's above, and you're there, right? Then that's one way. Every child, as a child, all of us learn how to walk. It's a city, learning how to walk. Then after a while, you learn how to escape the gravitational pull. You jump, but you only last for a few seconds. You jump up, so you are able to come off the earth for a while, but gravitational pull us back down. So there is the same way the engineers, they figure out how to move a mass of weight of atoms made up of, the plane, the metal and all that to float. The yogis, they understood, wait, there's also another technique. This is just a mass of atoms. So you can start to learn how to meditate, to raise it. So I remember the first time I experienced it, I thought I was in a magic show. I couldn't believe my eyes. I closed my eyes, I opened, like, that's humanly possible. It freaked me out. I was like, whoa. So this next mantra, Patanjali explains it for us, that we have this ability to become buoyant, lighter, right? Let's see, he says here, the mastery over the Udan nerve current, the upward vital air, accomplishes levitation over water, swamps, thorns, etc., and can leave the body at will. Amazing. So, like I said, I grew up in a Christian culture, so you get trained about the stories of Christ. And one of the most fascinating things that Christ did, or you learned, was he was able to walk on water. I learned that story as a young kid, and it triggers your intellect. as a child. Wow, is that humanly possible? When I came to the yoga culture, there's not just one person. You hear of so many yogis who do it. Like all the yogis in Satya Yoga, Dwarka, Chacha Yoga, they're all doing it. Everyone knows how to. And then, I understood, wait, this kind of wisdom was pervasive over the planet. It's just we have recordings of rishis who did it, but everywhere on the planet. North America. I'm on this amazing part of the planet called Hawaii. The Hawaiians, the mystic Hawaiians who they were able to do this, learn this art as well. So we figure out buoyancy. So Patanjali is giving us a clue here of how to meditate and how to how to tap into it. It's a pathway. We call it Udan. In the body, when we inhale, we bring in prana. Patanjali is saying that through pranayam, if you master a certain pranayam technique, your body will develop a force. The Kundalini force will raise and allow you to become buoyant. You start to lift off the earth pull, not just for 2 or 3 seconds, like each and every one of us can do, but stay there 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 60 minutes, on and on. So when we inhale, the prana comes in and the prana branches off. We call it into sub branches. Goes into the pelvic floor, goes into the abdomen, goes into the chest, goes into the head and arms. Actually, let's get a pen and paper, everyone. And I want you to just draw the silhouette of a person, and I'll show you my drawing. So just draw the silhouette of a person. This is what I'm referring to. So I have a outside of a head, the arms, the torso, the legs. Yes. So just draw. It takes 2 seconds to draw. Do. Little stick man. Do. Good. Now, once you have that, look at your drawing, and from your breastbone to your navel, draw lines that go across side to side. So that's referring to this side to side, from your navel to your breastbone. Then from the breastbone tip here to the throat, draw lines that go this way vertically. So that's this section. They go up. Arrows, they point up. And then from the pelvic, from the navel down to the pelvic floor, there, you draw lines going down, the arrows go down. And then the arms and legs, I have spirals. So spiral the legs, spiral the arms, spiral the head. Good. So this is called Pancha Prana. Pancha is 5 pranas. Pancha, 5 prana, sub branches of energy. So the prana, the sub branch that goes side to side in the abdomen, we call that saman, S-A-M-A-N-A, samana, S-A-M-A-N-A, samana. The next mantra we're going to read describes that. So that's samana. The prana going from the breastbone tip to the throat, we call it, it's a sub branch called prana as well. Same way, P-R-A-N-A. The prana going from the navel down into the pelvic floor, we call that apan, A-P-A-N-A, apan. And the prana in the arms, the legs, the head, that's what we call udan, U-D-A-N-A. Now, if you look at my drawing, I have, maybe you can't see it, but the backdrop of all, I have little dots over the arms, dots over the legs, dots in the chest, the abdomen. So just put dot all over. That's the 5th sub branch. That is called Vyana, V-Y-A-N-A. So we have this amazing organism, and the yogis understood the physical body is there, but we also have a subtle body, the prana maya kosh. You can't see it, but you can feel the prana maya. Yes, we did this before in discussing a few mantras back. Rub your palms fast as you can. And then you're rubbing the physical, but you're also moving all the other bodies. Now separate your palms, bring them close together without touching, back and forth. You'll start to feel a magnetic pull. That's the pull that represents your prana maya kosh, your energetic sheet. And it exists all over your physical body. Yes. So that prana maya kosh, that body, it's branched out into 5. Now, the branch that goes in the head and the arms, this is what Patanjali is referring to. He says here, by mastery over Udan, nerve current, the upward vital air, one accomplished levitation over water, swamps, thorns, etc., and can leave the body at will. So this sub-branch of prana, when it comes in. So now how to fine-tune our mind, saman, meditating on it and mastering it. Patanjali is giving us a hint. If you learn to do this, you can then learn the same power that our engineers use to fly planes and stuff, rockets, that mass of body, this amazing temple is just elements, earth, water, fire, air. But the air is more powerful than the elements. Earth, water, fire, this mass is subservient to the prana that comes in. Now we're making a difference, the air that's in the body is different than prana. When we inhale air or you blow air, that's not prana. Prana is subtler. It's a subtle, and it allows the body to move, to be animated. So when we see with the eyes, the yogis understood, Udan is working. And Udan in the head governs our thinking. The prana that goes up governs our breathing. The saman in the abdomen governs our digestion, right? The prana in the pelvic floor, which pulls down, which works with gravity, controls elimination. Yes. So you see an apple, your mind sees, your eyes make contact with that apple, and you're thinking, oh, I would love to eat that apple. So then you eat the apple, you put it in the mouth, your heart starts to beat, the lungs breathe up, prana, and then the food goes into your stomach, digestion takes place, saman is working, we get the prana into ourselves, the energy into ourselves, and what the body cannot digest, the body needs to eliminate. So apan eliminates. So we have this amazing organism, how it works. So we have to first meditate on those, then we'll fine tune ourselves into Udan, and then through the practice of meditating on Udan, your body can become lighter than the lightest. It can start to lift off the floor. There's a force. The force will come from the pelvic floor because it's apan, which pulls us down. Apan eliminates toxins. Every time we urinate or evacuate, the apan is pulling us down. So by the practice of this pancha prana, one eventually starts to turn the apan, you turn it upwards. And so the prana starts to flow up, and it falls and merge with pran, which already is going up. And then they connect with Udan. And when it connects to Udan, the whole body, earth, water, fire, air, ether element becomes extremely light. So that's a science. And I think as a child, every one of us is fascinated by levitation, floating, evolving out of space. So the last part of this mantra, he not only says you should develop levitation. If you levitate, it's gonna become an obstacle. He gives us a hint. He says, if you learn to levitate, then you should further it more to learn how to evolve, levitate your consciousness so much so that you can choose your time when you want to leave your body. So if you find anyone who's levitating and they're just demonstrating it for public to get donation, to get fame, they're misusing the power. They got stuck. The yogis who I saw doing it, they do it, but you can see they're developing even further. How can I levitate my consciousness so much that I am no longer in the bodily conception of life? I understand the elements are not me. In other words, the consciousness goes so deep inwards, they understand I am a spiritual being, and they can manipulate the elements, manipulate the breath, and they can tell with their power of the Atma, let's float, because I'm superior to these elements. Let's float. I can escape gravity, and that's how they do it. So you're supposed to, the levitation should lead you to that point where you evolve, levitate out of the bodily concept of life and recognize, whoa, I can choose my time of death. I can choose when I want to leave. There's my Bhakti Yoga guru, his guru, Bhakti Charuswam, his guru, Srila Prabhupada. So I had this siddha. He mastered it. Once Prabhupada was, he was already in his 79, so he was very frail, not much weight. Any one of us could lift him up with just by ourselves because he's that light. And he was in Vrindavan and he's ready to leave his body. And in the morning, they would bring him out of his bedroom to take him to the temple so he could go and see the deities in the temple. And they would carry him on a palanquin. So four of his disciples would carry him on a palanquin, and there were 4 disciples he chose. The same disciples carried him there, and every morning take him back to the bedroom. And one day, and he's light, but one day one of the disciples was explaining, Srila Prabhupada became extremely heavy. They struggled to lift him. And they were young 20-year-olds, and they were struggling to carry him to the temple. What happened? They've been carrying him for a few months, and he's always light. And then they took him to see the deities in the temple, and then they took him back to his bedroom. And when they got to the bedroom, Srila Prabhupada looked at them and said, "Today I was very heavy, wasn't I?" In other words, he had mastered all the studies. And then his disciples are telling him, Srila Prabhupada, we're going to miss you. Please don't go. And Prabhupada said, no, my time is up. My karma is up. It's time for me to leave my body. And the disciples pleaded, please don't go. And by this time, he had stopped eating. He stopped drinking. He was only living on air. He's ready to leave his body. He was about, this time, I think it was 79, ready to leave. He said, no, my karma has finished. And then they said, please don't leave. Praying to him, please don't go. And Prabhupada went into his meditation and said, okay, I spoke to my Lord in the heart and I made a bargain with him, I'll stay longer. And so he started to drink a little bit of water again, just a little bit, add a little broth. And then he stayed another 1.5 years on the planet. And after 1.5 years, he went back, travel, teaching again. And then okay, time for me to go. So that's someone who has mastered the levitation, not only of the body, but they have mastered this power to choose their time. You have a connection with God. You and God reach to that place and my karma is finished here. This elements, it's time to change. It's time to move on. So this is a powerful mantra. And I love the last part of this mantra because it tells us, Patanjali is explaining, it's not just about lifting off the floor, levitating. That's not the goal. The goal is to lift the consciousness more so that you and God have a connection. You can choose when you want to leave your body. So the practice is Udan. I'll do a meditation on the Pancha Prana first. And then just for you, this takes dedication. It's not, it's one thing to know, to have knowledge of it. It's another thing to practice. So in our culture, the yoga culture, we say philosophy and having knowledge of it is only 1%. 99% is practice. So it's not so much, but it's nice to know how the branches and the prana moves. At least that's available for us. The previous mantra, I don't know that nadi. If I knew that nadi to leave my body and enter someone's body, I don't even know if I have that desire to know that how to do it. But if it comes, it comes. If it's not one of mine. But here, the rishis, they explain this one even more to us. Udana. Through Udan, we develop the ability to levitate. So whenever you look out your room and you see, like I'm in Hawaii, I see boats on the water, right? They float, all these big cargo ships. That's also an expression of Udan working. Somehow the engineers who developed those ships, they understand buoyancy, they're understanding something of Udan. When I look out and I see the planes flying, I know the engineers are tapping into this understanding of how Udan works. So if we understand how Udan works in our body here, we can start to develop buoyancy, right? A lot of times I meet people who, they go and they do TM before, and TM meditation, they have a type of bunks. If you've done TM before, you see they get a certain mantra and they do a little, with that breathing exercise, and then they start to bounce off the ground, right? This is not that what he's referring to. This is you're sustaining it, right? So if you go to, maybe someone say, oh yeah, I bounce around. Anyone can bounce. You can jump up just like the TM people and have the same buoyancy, but we're trying to lift and stay. So the Udan allows you, the prana, it's an energy which allows the physical body to stay away. Yes, we're living in a mystical world already, just tapping into it. So the next time you see an airplane, wow, Udan is helping it. Next time you see a cargo ship or a boat, so buoyancy, right? And then one day, who knows? Maybe you go to the water. Oh yeah, I'll sink in the water, and all of a sudden, whoa, you walk on the water. That might happen to us. It happens to us when we're in the astral body. In dreams, we can do everything in the astral body. Now we're trying to bring in the astral, that pranamaya coach, into the physical and do it with the physical. Because every night you go to sleep, your astral body does it. Your astral body can walk on water, can fly, can do so much. But when the astral body somehow comes in contact with the elements, we get stuck. And every night you go to sleep, you put this to sleep, the pranamaya coach, manamaya coach body separates. So it's already there. You just got to learn to meditate on it. So let's stretch the legs out, wiggle the ankles, the knees. And bring the legs back, cross them back to where you're very comfortable. Bring the palms on the knees. That's the tip of the thumbs, tip of the index fingers. Close the eyes softly. Use the power of the legs. Push the legs down, lift the spine a little taller. You want to keep this tall posture. Bring the whole body into stillness. And I want you to recognize your amazing temple. Your body is a mystical aspect already. It has these amazing, powerful elements. Recognize your body is made up of earth, the skin. Your body has water in it. Your body has warmth, fire in it. Your body has air in it. Your body has space. It's an amazing mystical body you have. And this body, the elements, can only move because you, the Atma, the spiritual being, is within. Now, from the spiritual being within the heart space, there is, we call it Atma Pran, energy coming from the Atma. And that energy branches, connects with the energy coming from outside as we breathe in. Prana comes in and it governs the whole body. For you to move your small toe, you need prana. For you to move your eyelash, you need prana, you need energy. Now, imagine your body. It has a head, it has a chest, it has an abdomen, it has pelvic floor, 4 parts. And imagine beneath your skin, I want you to move into the subtler aspect, your prana maya kosh, your body of energy. Beneath your skin, there's no bones, no blood, no tissues, only energy. We're living in an ocean of energy outside, and within our skin is that ocean of energy. And take your awareness to that pelvic floor, that gravitational pull from your navel to the pelvic floor. I want you to imagine hundreds of yellow streaks of light going downwards. As you inhale, see the streaks of yellow light go down. And as you exhale, they turn back up. The streaks of yellow light comes back to that region of your navel across the waist. Inhale, the streaks of light go down. Exhale, they bounce and turn back up, come back to that region of the navel. Continue this visualization, exploring the sub-branch called Apan. Apan pulls down and allows us to remove toxins from the body in the form of solids, liquids, and gases out of the system, keeping our body healthy with fresh prana. Any stagnation prana that would bring toxins to our body, Apan pulls down through elimination. Pulling, working at gravitational force. Move your awareness to the sub-branch of prana called Saman. Take your awareness to that region of your body from your navel to your breastbone tip. And imagine hundreds of streaks of red light moving side to side. The Saman helps with our digestion of food, breaks down and assimilate the prana from the food. So it's responsible for our liver, our stomach, our small intestine. As you inhale, imagine streaks of red light move from one side of your body to the other. And as you exhale, the prana bounces back, boom, to the other side. Keep your awareness with the prana, which allows our digestion to take place. Now move your awareness to the tip of your breastbone across the chest, up towards the neck, where the clavicle meets the neck. And imagine streaks of blue light going upwards as you inhale. And as you exhale, the streaks of blue light bounce back down towards the tip of the breastbone region. This sub branch of prana, which governs our breathing and our heart and emotions, is called sub branch of prana, called prana as well. As you inhale, feel naturally prana move up. As you exhale, prana goes back down, controls the breathing. Our energetic body moving up with the breath. The energetic body goes back down as we exhale. Now take your awareness to the head and imagine a spiral of white light moving from the base of the neck up, passing the chin, the mouth, the ears, the nose, the eyes, the skull as you inhale. And as you exhale, it spirals back down to the neck. Inhales. Imagine a beam of white light spiraling up. And as you exhale, it spirals back down. This is the sub branch called Udan, which governs our thinking. It is lighter than prana. It is lighter than saman. It is lighter than apan. It is the lightest branch of prana. Now imagine beautiful white lights as you inhale. It moves from your shoulders down to your spiraling down your arms, forearms, wrists, fingers. As you exhale, white light spirals back up to your shoulders. Inhale, imagine white light spiraling down to the fingertips. Exhale, they spiral back up. Udan controls the arms. Because it is the lightest sub branch of prana, it allows you to lift your arms over your head if you're doing any asana. So much movement in your arms. Udan controls the legs. Imagine two beams of white light as you inhale, they spiral down your thighs, knees, calf, ankles to your toes. As you exhale, the white light spiral back up to the hip joints. Visualize the Udan in the legs now. Because Udan is light, it allows your legs to move into many different type of yoga asana. Hanuman asana, pigeon, very light, allow your body to be light in the legs and arms and head. And there's a backdrop of prana. The reason the head works with the chest and the chest work with the abdomen and the abdomen work with the pelvic floor is because there's a backdrop, dots of white light all over the body called Vyan. Imagine beneath your skin from head to toe, thousands upon thousands of white lights like shooting stars floating around your whole body, your body of prana. head. Prana flows in the head. You see the food, you think about it, thinking. You start to eat the food, the heart beats up, the lungs work, starts our digestion. The food enters the stomach, the assimilation of energy into our atoms, into our cells, and what the body cannot use, which will create poisonous for the body will naturally eliminate through the practice, through the process of apan. Udan in the head thinks, breathing is the backdrop prana, saman digestion, apan elimination. And recognize this pranamaya kosh is even more powerful than the elements earth, water, fire, air, ether. And because it's more powerful than these powerful elements, it can influence them. And if you have in your mind, plant in your mind right now, gaze in the mind and tell yourself, I am lighter than the elements. The Atma, the spiritual being whom we are, is already lighter. It can become lighter or heavier. But for now, just tell yourself, I am lighter. And imagine you can tap into the lightest tattva, the lightest prana called Udan, and allows your physical body made up of these other elements can be influenced by Udan to escape gravitational force. That same Udan which you use to jump off the floor can be sustained more and more. And as you evolve more and more, we're not only be able to levitate off the floor, but you'll be able to get away from the bodily concept of life. Recognize it's just atoms you're animating, you, the spiritual being. And right next to us is Paramatma, Lord in the heart, and we can get to that place where we can choose our time to leave this body. We all chose that time to take birth. Before, we just forgot when we chose that time to take birth. We can get to that realization to also leave. If we make that union, that third major yogas with Paramatma, we can attain this platform to finish our karmic evolution, move on to our other dimension. As you breathe in, feel your body getting lighter, lighter, lighter. And as you exhale, the body gets lighter, lighter, lighter. Every night you put the physical body to sleep, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the same pranamaya kosh body of apan, saman, pran, udan, and vyan travels every night. It leaves, separates, and levitates, and you live through the astral body with the mind, the intellect, and the pranamaya kosh. And you prove to yourself you're lighter than many things in our dreams. You can fly, float, just tapping into that faculty of prana. And let's externalize our consciousness, become aware back to the breath at the entrance of the nostrils. Feel the air moving in and out. Become aware of the room you're sitting in. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Breath to normal. Move the fingers slowly. Bring the palms to the heart. Lower the brain. That means we're moving Udan towards the heart where prana is. Namaste. Lift the head, open the eyes. Thank you all so much. How many of us, with our conditioning, doubt that we can levitate? We doubt ourselves, right? So the yogis teach, right now, that's your logical mind working. When you go to sleep tonight, before you go to sleep, tell yourself, I will have a dream, I'm flying tonight. That part of you doesn't live in this dimension. You'll be surprised. You can have a dream you're levitating tonight. So tell it. And then when you have those experiences in your dream, bring it back to the, yes, I can do this. But right now, you're 99.999% of your mind is thinking, yeah, Patanjali is not making sense here. I can never levitate. We doubt it. No, it's humanly possible. The Atma is powerful. We can do it. Tell yourselves, I'll have a levitation dream tonight. The logical mind goes away. Whoa. And then you bring that in, and one day you're in this dimension. Levitate. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Margaret. Mahalo, Alexis. Thank you, Helen Anzaline. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Yogi Charu.
Thank you, Jovita. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Jean.
Thank you, Yogi
Thank you,
Charu.
Amani. Thank you, Karina. Mahalo, Greg. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Mahalo, Kai. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Yumiko.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashak. Hariyom Tatsat. Catch your, go fly tonight, levitate tonight. Have a beautiful evening.